Cool. Because I don't know. I feel like there's such a natural feel going on in the conversation as is, and the momentum's gonna pick up. I don't want to lose that spark.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Dude, it's this 2025. I don't know about you, man, but for me, it's weird too because like I don't want to say anything that's negative because your words are spelling, right? It's important. It's been
Correct.
it's been pullbacks and regressions, but it's been like highly tactical. Like everything that's been quote unquote bad that's been like holding me back. It's almost like my life is an arrow. God is drawing me back because like something will happen and it'll be negative, but then I look at it 2 months later and I'm like, I needed to be repositioned there so that that could line up. And it's been just continual repeatedly all 2025 so far. And have you experienced anything similar?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. And it's like you said, words are spell casting. When you say I will, you will it into existence. And the thing is, everything that's happening is put in place for a reason. And you don't realize, every person I talk to, they don't realize it in the moment, but it's always 2 months later, 3 months later, when you're doing your feedback, your reflection, your analysis. That's when you begin to realize God puts you in that exact position for that reason, to allow you to reach. Let's say you're at point A. He had to put you back from, let's say you reach point C. He had to take you back to point B so you could learn a couple new lessons from point B, C to make it to D.
Hundred
Does that make
percent,
sense?
100%, dude. And also, like, dude. All right, so I've been pretending to be a slave in the Matrix, just like Neo, going back into the Matrix to help others awaken. I've been doing Uber the last
Right.
45 days just for fun, not really for cash flow, but just to meet people, gauge where the collective conscious is. Also, I work at an operational role in Ramp for a major airline. I don't plug my social media with the airline, so I can't name drop the name of the company, but I'm in these roles that are very like low hanging fruit roles, and I'm always trying to like get people to start thinking. Like I don't know where you are as far as like if you're an NPC or not, but like what are you grateful for? Why are you having such a great day? What are your dreams? And bro, it's actually I can't say that it irritates me or it makes me mad, but like it's so I feel pity when like someone's like, dude, what's my dream? I've never really thought about that. Well, what do you do for work? Oh, I do this. Do you like that? No, I really actually hate it. Wait, so you hate what you're doing? You're not grateful today. You don't know what your dream is, brother. You've got a big problem.
Absolutely. And then your average person wonders why they feel the way they feel, and then they go self-medicate with all these external substances that come from God knows where. They don't know how it's affecting their mind, and then they wonder why they feel shittier after. Well, the reason why you feel so shitty is because you haven't written anything out for your life. It's not your life. You're living someone else's story. It's not your story. It's not your soul calling.
A hundred
So I
percent,
agree with you
a hundred
completely over
percent.
there.
And dude, there's
I
some
feel pity for these
substances. Go again.
I feel pity for these people, but at the same time I do not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people receive the message and then choose to ignore it.
And that, dude, and that's where people will call it narcissistic, but it's like, bro, when I make it, quote unquote, and have the tangible yield of like all the hard work I've put in for almost a decade now, these people are the same people that are going to say, "Oh, you're so lucky." And it's like people will call it narcissistic to say, "Oh, I'm just better than you." In the eyes of God, we're all the same, right? We're all equal. But in the marketplace, I am better than you in every form of capacity because as you chose to use escapism, substances, and drugs and partying, I was getting up at 3 a.m., sitting in an ice bath, then going to the gym for 2 hours, even when I didn't feel like it. And I was locked in for a decade. You didn't see everything that I was building over the time. Oh, now you're lucky. No, I'm not lucky, dude. I was disciplined while you were shirking around doing nothing. So, yeah, bro. I don't feel I don't feel pity. I more feel like I'm blessed to be chosen and anointed, but I chose to be chosen and anointed, and I have the formula, and I'm like, I'm trying to hand it to you. And they're like, nah, I'm really good with serfdom and like not enjoying my life. I like the steak. I want to eat the steak. It's like, dude, what are you doing, man?
God blessed you with the vision, and that's something to forever be grateful for. I'm always grateful for that. Every day I wake up, that I was chosen the same way you just said. We were chosen with a different outlook than these people. It's a little bit asinine how the average person looks at the world. And you said that you like to solve puzzles, right? You can solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds. I can't do that. Every single day, we're taking a small piece of the puzzle, placing it, finding the exact place it has to go for the bigger picture. And that's what people forget about. They forget about that bigger picture. And that's why they choose escapism, because it's too hard to solve the puzzle.
Yep. You know, another thing that I've experienced, especially as of recent, this is my 8th year of entrepreneurship. And like, I'm going to turn 28
Congratulations.
this month. I live in one of my parents' properties at home. I drive a Gen 3 Prius, an old car that I bought totaled and fixed it, right? I have a lot of cash on hand, but overall, as far as the world's concerned, I don't really have much going for me. And that's because I'm playing the delayed gratification game. And going through the lonely chapter, as Alex Hermosi refers to it, it's like, even I have the formula that I understand and I operate on, but every day my operational efficiency is I'm floating like 70, 75, 80% on a good day. So there's things that I know I need to be doing. And because the operational roles, a lot of the hats are being worn by me, I'm still dropping the ball in certain areas every single day, which is not only is it monotonous, but it makes me feel a little discouraged at the end of the day because it's like I know the things I need to be doing and I'm not getting them done for whatever constraint that may be: time, money, some ego thought that's not even real, but I just made up and I bought into it, right? And
Right.
it's people that are on the starting path, they're on the starting line, they haven't even started going down the venture of self development and self actualization. Of course, they're fearful of starting because they're like, well, it's one, it seems insurmountable from where my current path and situation is. And two, even if it's not insurmountable, I've been watching you for almost a decade and you've been talking about all this grandiose stuff. You've had highs, right? You've been way up there. You've worked with.
Jake, Jake, I'm gonna ask you to hold that thought right there, just because your mic is cutting in, just it's cutting in and out just a little bit. There's like a little bit of distortion going on.
Better.
I think it might be with Discord. I'm not sure if it's with OBS and the microphone itself. It may just be a connection issue.
Okay, let me see. Give them a little rant. You know what? While I'm fixing this, you need to intro yourself. This is the Living Good with
Okay, okay,
Jacob Living Good podcast, and we've got a guest today.
okay. Well, thank you very much for that, and I appreciate you for having me on. My name is Razi. For anybody that doesn't know me, I consider myself an artist, visionary, and an engineer. Those are the best labels for myself. And like I said, Jake, thank you very much for having me on here. It's been a
Absolutely.
great discussion so far. It's been a great discussion so far. And you know what? I think there's so many angles we could take when we're talking. We could talk about politics, we could talk about music, we could talk about art, we could talk about AI, we could talk about anything because there's so many things going on today. But the most important things are everything that you just talked about, your day to day, what you embed inside of it, and building those systems for yourself. And the average person watching this, I'm only 21 years old, right? And compared to the other 21-year-olds in my town, for the other 21-year-olds that I met, all the people that are going away for college, all the people that I've met back in the day and see how they're doing now, I'm doing far better than them. And I know that's not an ego thing, but it's the same exact thing that you said. It's the fact that for the last 3 years, you were in school, you were partying, you were going out, you were doing everything. I stayed in the shadows. I took risks. I started building, and I'm not a decade in, but when I do hit that decade mark, it's going to be the same thing. People are going to wonder, oh, well, you just got lucky. No, I've been building these systems for the last decade. And that's the most crucial thing. And I'm very happy that you touched on that because the average person that's watching, that doesn't even click with them. And for us, I know that seems like the most obvious thing to do, but we're talking about 70, 80% doing what we need to do and leaving the other 20% out, and you feel so bad about it. The average person does like 15% of what they need to do, and that 15% doesn't even come from what they want to do. It's just things that they have to do because of their work, school, etc., etc. And their minds are so focused on everything else rather than, again, their own goals. Student loans, they have debt, they got drama, they got school, they got a girlfriend, they got all these outside sources that's just distracting them. And the next thing you know, they're 30 years old, they're 40 years old, they're 50 years old, and then they're looking back. Where did time go?
Yeah, dude. The the
It's a
the
shame.
the concept of delayed gratification and like operating in a way that like I'm 27. My biggest year was $700,000 gross revenue. I had a tech company that we raised
Congratulations.
capital, VC funded, sold the company for 27 million, and I'm 27, turning 28 this month. I have right now liquid, I have almost $50,000 in assets ready to deploy. If I wanted to, if I wanted to, I could sell my Prius, sell my motorcycle, and I could go get a C8 Corvette, which is on my vision board. I could go do that. However, I don't do that because the game of delayed gratification, right? Do you want to be rich or do you want to look rich? Because the way that I'm playing the game, right? I've got this gigantic carrot with this tiny foliage. And then other people are like, look at my massive lifestyle. They got this big foliage and the tiny little baby carrot underground, right? It's an analogy for where your financial affluence is being leveraged. And here's the problem, a lot of people think that you need to posture publicly so that people think you're doing a lot better than you are, when in fact, what you're doing is called lifestyle inflation, and it's the most dangerous game you can play. Oh, I just made $10,000. I had a five-figure net month. Okay, well, that means I can go finance a C8 Corvette now and I can get that. Well, now your baseline expenditures next month is three, four, five times what it was last month. So now you have to, your new bare minimum is 5K net per month in order to just not be struggling. Whereas if you don't do that, you continue to live a meager lifestyle, and all that excess capital that you have goes directly into investing, you're going to reach a parabolic curve in your growth, the growth graph of your life, a lot faster. At which point now you can just buy an SVJ cash. Instead of financing an
Right.
$80,000 car, you just buy cash $1 million car. You just got to play the game longer.
Right. And that's, it's like you said, that's the beauty of delayed gratification. And I saw Alex Ramosi actually, I heard a quote from him that's always stuck in the back of my mind. I'm not going to get the quote exactly right, but he was referring to the average person looking in on your life, and they're saying, "Oh, you're not doing so much." From the outside, it doesn't seem like you're doing much, but you're playing a long-term game. You're looking for years. You're talking about decades. And they're talking about months, they're talking about days, they're talking about weeks.
Yeah. Dude, you want to know another thing? And bro, before I even say this, like to anyone listening, even my family, if they're listening to this in the future, I love my family so much. I really do love them. They've provided for me. They've put me in a position where my life is great. But the closest people, your closest friends and family, are the first ones to hate. So like fitness journey, right? I was 247 pounds and 35% BMI. I was obese in February of 23. I did 75 hard 5 times in a row, back to back to back. Since then, I'm down 92 pounds and I'm in double digit. I'm
Congratulations.
14% body fat. I look like a superhero. I'm shredded. But my closest family, and they're all, I mean, I love them so much, but just mathematically, sheerly mathematically, they are all, I'm the only one in my immediate family that's not obese, and I was obese because you're the average of the people you spend the most time with. And they're to this day, they make little like quirky little, to them it's just like underly digs, right? It's just like jokes. Haha. Oh, you won't drink with us, you're too good for that. But it's like, it's actually like, wait a second, you're actually just like low key shading me because you're actually a little bit envious that I made the change. And the problem with it is, one, that sucks, and it really sucks coming from the people that you love. Two, it's like I've given you the formula, and also I'm begging you guys, please come to the gym with me. I know it's a little socially uncomfortable. You don't know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing, so I'll walk you through everything. It'll be totally chill. Nah, nah, I can't do that. And it's like, bro, you can't carry someone up the ladder if they don't want to go, dude. It's just as simple as that.
No, you can't save someone that doesn't want to be saved at the end of the day. And that it is a damn shame, but there's only so much energy you could give somebody else. You know what I mean? There's only so much energy, there's only so much time, attention, focus. You know, I have a buddy, I won't say the name just in case this ever does surface down the line, but I think for 3 days straight, I got on the phone with him for an hour and a half, hour and a half, hour and a half every single day. And, you know, he was going through a lot. So I was giving him as much advice as possible because a lot of people come to me for advice because I tend to give out really valuable advice. So Hour and a half, hour and a half, hour and a half. On the third day, I stopped taking calls after that because if the first two times I'm dedicating, and I made it very explicit, I'm dedicating an hour and a half of my time is very valuable. I don't have an hour and a half to give people. So if I'm giving you an hour and a half and it's just going in one ear and out the other, I'm gonna forget about you. You can't save someone that doesn't want to be saved at the end of the day.
Dude.
Everyone has to make their own decision.
Dude, that's so true.
Even if you love the person.
I have one like that, a story that happened a couple months ago, and honestly, it really pissed me off at the time, and it caused a rift. But has since come back and apologized for it. But what happened, right? I've got an accelerator where I have four subject matter experts with a cumulative 35 years in business experience and 4 million followers, and we even have an in-house CPA that can consult with you. Crazy, and we help you determine what your dream and vision is, actualize a plan. We help you build a personal brand, and then we help you use AI and systems to build the whole thing and hold your hand the whole way along. And there's
Beautiful.
almost 75 hours of pre-recorded course material to go through when you launch into this. It's a monthly membership subscription model, right? Like Alex Hermosi does. It's hosted on Circle, not School though. But anyways, one of my long-term buddies, 8 years, he's been watching me, and he hits me up and he's like, bro, I'm finally ready to start this business, this plan. I really believe in what you're building. I want to be one of your first case studies. Like, I'm joining today. And I was like, dude, that's sick. Like, awesome. I'm excited to help you. The next 4 days straight, by the way, my phone lives on do not disturb. My phone's never not on do not disturb. People can't get in
I'm
contact with
on it
me,
on both my phones right now.
dude. Like, I only show up to meetings that I've prearranged that I know is on my calendar. You can't contact me. I'm
Right.
sorry, but I'm missing calls from him every day, and I'm circling back with him. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? And he's just like, yo, I got this question about this thing, and so he keeps hitting me back up. On the fifth day, he chargebacks the entry to the program, and then he sends me this long, like, multi-paragraph message about how he's so disappointed. This was supposed to be something that was really gonna, like, change my life around, and like, dude, I really don't know if this is, like, I mean, it's kind of discouraging that you just did this, you charged me for this, and then I didn't even get any value out of it. And then I log into my back office. Not only did he not log in at all, my students that join this accelerator, we do a call a week. So, and there's four of us. So we each do a call a month. They don't get my phone number. And he's calling me every single day trying to get personal direct access to me. And I told him, bro, I don't have a magic pill that you just eat and then your dreams are actualized tomorrow. That's not real, bro. I can help you. I have a formula. It's not a magic formula. It's still going to take work, and you also have to do the work. I'm not going to do the work for you. And you're acting very entitled because you have personal direct access to me, not through the business, but through personal, and you're trying to use that for business. That's not cool, bro. And I didn't talk to him for like 4 months, and then he circled back and he apologized for that. But that happened, and it was just like, bro, it's weird, bro. Entitlement.
Yes, there's a lot of entitlement. It shows you who a person really is. And I want to bounce back to what you said in the beginning because I feel that is very important. Just to touch on it really quick, I live on Do Not Disturb as well. And the reason I do that is because I need to be as hard to contact as possible. People think that I could just give out 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It all adds up and they feel so entitled to have a part of my time. But there's so many people where they give me calls, back to back to back, and they expect me to answer. But then after a week, 2 weeks of constant spamming, it reaches the point where they realize, like, wow, I'm not that valuable to this person. But they get hurt about it. But it's like, no, it's just, you can't call me unless we're working on something. You can't call me. You can't. And I think that's what only entrepreneurs I feel really, people that have been in it for a couple years, you've been in it far longer than me, but people that start getting into it after a couple years start realizing how valuable their time actually is. I can't give out 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. I have so many things because there's unlimited work to do. There's unlimited work to do. When people say, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, there's unlimited possibilities, there's unlimited ideas. You just have to step out the box because what's business at the end of the day? It's solving problems in a creative way.
Yes. 100%. Dude,
Yeah.
I want to move into personal branding and social media, bro. What do you think? Where are we headed with AI and potentially we're going to see super intelligence come up. We're going to see the singularity. Like, is it Armageddon? Are we living through the book of Revelations? Or am I being over exaggerative?
So I actually wanted to talk about AI with you. So that's funny that you brought that up. I wrote an article on X the other day about AI and its takeover down the line, where I see it going in the next couple years. And on top of that, if it's been here before, how long have we had this technology for? We see these great inventions from ancient times. And what is AI the Antichrist? Is machine gonna just take over? I don't think you're far fetched. I don't think you're out of tune. I think I agree with you completely. Not I think. I know I agree with you completely because my analysis would be that AI was here before. It took over. People started working on AI. Eventually, AI got too advanced. It took over. Something happened where it all got taken out. Then all the slavery that it caused, the people started worshiping pagans, and it's like a cycle.
Yeah. I mean, look at the ancient civilizations. I mean, look at Egypt. We still can't figure out how the pyramids were built. With our modern technology, we don't know. So,
I'll let I'll let you know. I'm gonna be in Egypt in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I'm gonna visit those pyramids. So I'll
fire.
send you some footage.
Fire. Have you read the book of Enoch?
I have not, but I've heard of it.
The first sin that was committed. So, theologically, I mean, it is hard to construe that the personal eyewitness attempts or testimonies of Jesus Christ's birth, life, death, and resurrection. I mean, it is indisputable. It happened. We know that, and so that means that
Right.
the Bible holds merit. It's truthful, right? And that brings up a much larger question of this spiritual warfare that's happened. Aliens, demons. We could go deep into it, but the book of Enoch, the first sin that was committed was in heaven, and it was pride, because Lucifer felt he was greater than God. I can be more than God. And God said, "All right, if you want to be me, so be it. You can be me, but you can be me somewhere else, not in my kingdom." And so Lucifer took 33% of the angels and got them to shift over to his side, and then they were cast out of heaven. Where were they cast to? They were cast here to earth. And that the fallen angels referred to in the book of Enoch, they represented themselves as Thoth. They presented themselves as Thor, as the Norse gods, the Greek gods, to humanity, to provide heavenly wisdom to us, and so that we would worship them, right? I mean, think about all the theology and the different ideologies down here. They're
Right.
fallen angels that said, "Hey, look, I'm God, worship me." So there was even amidst the angels in the legions of Lucifer, there was even pride and redemption going on there, where they're like, "No, I'm actually better than Lucifer. If we're already out of God's kingdom, I can be better than Lucifer." And I mean, I don't know, man. And then we see,
And I think it's important to touch on that number as well. 33% of them.
yep,
If you know, you know. But but 33%. That's all I'm saying.
we know.
And
Uh,
I do think, just not to drift away from the faith topic, because I do want to bounce back to the conversation that we're having right now, but to spin back a little bit back to where we were. I think AI is going to drastically increase in speed and improve itself. And the thing is, in 2 years, we're going to see AI take over all forms of entertainment, from the music industry to Hollywood to TikTok, Instagram. And the reason why I say this is because you see VO3, you see how real it's getting. I work with AI, you work with AI. It's getting very hyper realistic. It's getting hyper realistic at a very fast rate, and it costs way cheaper. So wait till Hollywood budgets go down from 50 million down to 50,000.
yep.
Who wouldn't take advantage of that?
But also another thing, that to play devil's advocate, or I guess I'd want to say the other way around, because that's the negative ideology and philosophy. The other ideology, a lot of people think this is gonna take all our jobs, and then we'll have to be put on universal basic income and have a social credit score system in order to make sure that everyone can continue to eat.
Jake, not to interrupt you again. The mic just cut out as soon as you said take over jobs. The mic completely cut out, but I think it's a Discord thing. The same thing that was going on
I don't think
earlier.
it's a Discord thing, man. I think it's you know who it is.
Do you
It's
think it?
probably it's it's probably the
Oh,
Jewish
I,
overpowers.
I mean, yeah, my first Discord got banned earlier, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, dude, they don't want us talking
For the viewers that are watching, my first Discord got temporarily banned till tomorrow for what was it? Violent extremism?
because you're asking questions.
Because I'm asking some questions.
That's
That's all.
really
All I did was ask a couple questions. I didn't say anything wrong. I just asked some questions.
it's pretty weird, man.
But continue.
Yeah, look, what if AI takes, instead of like taking all the jobs and then we're going to starve to death, what if it takes all the menial jobs and allows humanity to focus more on creative pursuits and endeavors so that each of us can identify our gifts and passions, leverage these models so that we can actually build something tangible and real utilizing AI so that we can actually live our dreams? Each of us has an individualized dream, whether we understand what it is or not. What if AI takes the menial slave ship jobs, for example, being a typewriter or doing fraud calls or doing a cash register at McDonald's, so that we can all focus on
Could
stuff
you
we love?
repeat that last just bounce back a couple sentences? If you heard your voice right now, you would be terrified. I should send you a video on Instagram. No, it's truly it's I swear to God. Wait.
I'm the
I want to send you a
Terminator.
video so you could it sounds very altered. Say anything. Just say a couple sentences.
Assalamu alaikum. No, all right. Look, I'll say some sentences.
There we
Basically,
go.
basically,
It
what's
went back
happening
to
here?
normal.
Did it really?
Wait, talk again?
All right. Look, it's as simple as this: life is what you make it, and if you pursue your dreams and you continue doing it, eventually it is inevitable that they will come to pass.
Jake, do me a favor. Pick up your phone, open Instagram, and put that video up to the mic that I just sent you because we're getting hijacked right now. It's set. The second one sending as well.
Look, I'll say some sentences.
There we go.
Basically,
It went back.
that's so crazy.
Listen to the second one.
It's as simple as this. Life is what you make it. Dude, am I Batman, bro?
You might be. You might be.
That's crazy, dude. That's absolutely nuts.
It's a little bit wild. I have a question for you, though, a genuine question.
Yes.
Do you think that AI could send us towards? I think it's already happening slowly but surely, day by day, and now it's just speeding up and they're making it more obvious because your average person doesn't notice. Your average person is pretty stupid. Do you think we're heading towards an Orwellian society? Do you think we're heading towards 1984 completely?
Bro, I'll be honest, man. I don't think we're heading towards it. I think it's already here. I think
Yeah?
we just haven't really fully noticed it yet. I mean, dude, look at Palantir, what they're building. Look at the social credit score system in China, how that functions and how they can take away your basic human rights. Like you're not allowed to use public transport. You
Right.
literally can't leave your house. It's an arrestable offense if your social credit score system's a little too low because you've been a bad boy. And by bad goy, I mean you've been questioning the narrative and asking questions about certain ethnic groups of people and why they are only a fraction of a percent of the human populace, yet control 100% of everything if you follow the path for farther enough back. And they're trying to build it into anti Semitic laws so that if you speak out against that, all of a sudden that is an arrestable offense. Free speech is under attack. And yeah, I think 1984. I mean, look, not super deep down the rabbit hole. This is a fact in CIA declassified documents. Israel played a integral role in 9/11 happening. Okay, that is not conspiracy theory. That's just straight up fact.
Indisputable.
It's a conspiracy. It's not conspiracy theory because there was a conspiracy committed. So that's not weird. Also, JFK also in declassified CIA documents was assassinated by the CIA working with Mossad because he was trying to pass Executive Order 1110, which was to back us on a silver note standard so that the Federal Reserve would have less centralized
You're
control.
cutting in and out. I just you're spitting value right now. But please go on. Please go on. But you're just cutting in and out. It's horrible.
I will, dude. It's because we're actually probably under techno
I'm
attack.
telling you, we're getting hijacked. There's no way we're not getting hijacked because from the beginning of this, I knew something was up. Because right now, if you heard yourself over the last 2 minutes, you'd be like, "What?" Half of that cut out, and half of it came in distorted. I think I've heard 5 to 10 seconds of your voice that was clear in
Dude,
that whole.
dude. But look, it's as simple as this. We are in an age where there is a small group of individuals that have full totalitarian financial control. And through financial control, they exercise that control in all mediums, political, religious, and it is a spiritual warfare that this is the synagogue of Satan
100%.
versus
It
heaven's
is 100%
angels.
warfare.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we are well on the way to a new world order, one world government, and centralized digital currencies that are programmable money. And if you're a bad boy, they'll take all your money away and lock you away.
And I don't know if this is going to be a little too much to touch on, but when we read about the 2030 agenda and we read about the World Economic Forum and what they're saying COVID did for them, the way it set them forward 9 years, and the way we're in a digital society now, Mark Zuckerberg said himself that the physical and digital world have merged into one. And with all these technological advances that are happening, you look at one day in 2025, that's 1 week in 2020. And well, what's the next thing that the World Economic Forum is talking about? They're talking about a major blackout. They're talking about shutting down the internet for cybersecurity. And it's funny because it's like you said, we are in 1984. I mean, look at China, right? And the United States is slowly shifting there, which is a big shame because this is the last country where we truly have democracy. Look at Europe. Look at the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has fallen completely.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom is cooked. And it really is a shame. I think one thing that's very crucial. The thing with America is us as a people, these people that are leading, they're people. They're just like us. They're people. And we each have enough power. If we give power back to the people, we each have enough power to go out there and make a change. But your average person is just so distracted by everything else. And that average person doesn't have that faith in themselves. They don't have that fire. They don't have that belief. They don't have that. When I talk to the average person and say, I'm going to become a billionaire, you
Yeah.
know how many heads? Like they think
They
they
look
look
at
at
you
me
like
like
you're
I have
crazy.
18 heads. They
Yeah.
look at you like you're crazy, but I'm like a billion is nothing. Elon Musk has 400.
Yeah. 100%, bro. I love it. I've gotten to the
It's
point where my vision's so large, I feel uncomfortable telling normies about it because they look at me like I'm stupid. And I'm like, bro, you're the one that's not thinking. Your mind is not turned on, bro. It's not that hard.
exactly. They don't understand the power you have as an individual, as a person. We're only here for 70 to 100 years, if that, God willing. So you have to make the most of it. Every idea that you get is a God idea. Every thought that you have, ideas are not free. There's a collective unconsciousness. Ideas are not free by any means necessary. If you don't act on that idea, someone else is going to.
Bro,
God blessed you with the idea in the moment for a reason.
I gotta spin off that one because this is crazy. I was hearing a thing where Michael Jackson would get up at 3 in the morning and jump into his at-home recording studio to start recording a beat that would hit in his mind because he was afraid that Prince was going to at 3 in the morning get the same idea and steal it. And the reason he had that thought was because he woke up at 3 in the morning with a beat and a song. He went back to sleep, and 4 weeks later Prince released that song. And so like that, dude, that really does happen. God pings down ideas to the collective conscious, who's going to hit it first. And it happened to me. I've been dreaming about being a moto vlogger for 10 years, bro. And when I started doing Uber 40 days ago in my Prius and just driving people around, I was like, yo, I could literally strap saddlebags to my super sport motorcycle and I could just go deliver DoorDash and Uber Eats on my bike, and that would be my vlog content and seeing does this actually make money. and boom, a guy literally, I backdated it because I saw this video 4 days ago. He did it a month and a half ago. I backdated it. He did the video 3 days after I had that idea, and it has 2 million views on YouTube. And I'm like, bro, what?
And I'm assuming you consider yourself a creative. True creatives, people that are true artists, we get these visionary ideas, and when we don't act on them, God will show us what will happen when you don't act on your idea. I have a story just to add to your story. I have an EP that I put out in July 2023 called Late Nights in Tokyo. And the original EP cover, it has 5 songs on it. The original cover was supposed to be a purple themed Tokyo aesthetic with all the buildings and city nightlife. I ended up changing it to something completely different. Fast forward to May 2024, I'm sitting with my audio engineer and we're looking up the EP on SoundCloud. Then we find an EP called Late Nights in Tokyo by some random from years prior to mine with the same exact cover I originally wanted. 5 songs as well. 5 songs.
Bro, it's so crazy.
Exactly. And the beautiful part about it is we could also hop into synchronicities here. I would argue that synchronicities, when you get these visionary thoughts and then synchronicities start happening in your life, it means you're on the right path and you have to start acting on those God ideas
Yep.
because you were chosen for them.
Yep. Dude, the spiritual and the physical they coincide hand in hand. Whenever I see a synchronicity, like I was just thinking about a thought, I ask God for a message, and then I see a license plate that's literally a Bible scripture, or I'm thinking about what this micro plan and my initiative that are my next goals on my vision board are, and then boom, I look over at the clock, it's 11:11. Like
Yes.
it happens all the time, and when I experience one of those things, I slow down, I zoom out, and I go, I need to focus in this moment, I need to lock in, because whatever I was just thinking about, that this is a confirmation that this is where I'm supposed to be headed right now.
And I love that you said that because I say that to so many people exactly how you just said it. And they also look at me like I have 8 heads. The average person does not understand the capabilities of themselves.
Bro, you know what that's called? It's called the
Themselves.
fluoride
They don't
stare.
understand. It's all the fluoride, exactly. And they don't understand the connection that they have with the divine. They don't understand the connection they have with God. And us here, we're artists. God is the ultimate artist, but we're here. We're all artists in our own way, shape, and forms. And we all have extraordinary ideas that are given to us. And every second that we distract ourselves with everything else, we let the opportunity fly by. And that's how people end up 40, 50 years old. And they say, damn, where did time go? I could have been.
Yeah, bro. The Matrix series, the film series, is literally an anagram. It's an analogy for the crucifixion, the life of Jesus Christ, and what that means, what salvation means through that. The Oracle tells Neo, I'm a robot, right? So how could you trust me? Well, and he says, well, if I'm gonna make a choice, do you already know what choice I'm gonna make? And she said, I wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't. And he said, well, then what am I why am I here to make the choice if I've already made it? And she says, you didn't come here to make a choice. You came here to understand why you made the choice. So the end is already decided. We do have free will, and we can jump around the paths of what alternate versions of ourselves could happen, but where we're headed is already predetermined, right? It already exists. So all we have to do is decide what timeline we want to be on and where we want to be at the end of our life. All your decisions are butterfly affecting themselves into higher or lower density vibrational entities. So you can end
Right.
up in heaven on earth, or you can end up in hell on earth. It really depends on the vibrational frequency you choose through your actions. And every action, every decision, every thought counts. Every single one of them, all the time.
And I love that you just said that. You're right. All the time, you have to be conscientious of every thought, every action, every movement that you make, every word that even comes out of your mouth. You have to be super, super conscientious about it because it does matter. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Words are like spell casting. And your thoughts have so much power because your thoughts could lead to revolutions. Your thoughts could lead to incredible architecture. Your thoughts could lead to you being nowhere. Your thoughts could lead to anything. And that's I know this is going to sound crazy off topic, but that's also the scam of therapy. They allow you to take your thoughts and energy, attention and focus and redirect it towards opening a closed wound or a wound that's healing. So when I cut myself with a knife, right? Or if I just got a cut across my hand and I put a band-aid on there so it could heal, I don't open it up and play with the wound.
Yeah.
I just close it up. I don't look at it. The band-aid covers it and time does its thing. And that's the beauty. You have to develop these thoughts, these new thoughts that allow you to build, build, build. And then eventually you look back and it's been 3 months since whatever incident people are mentally hurt by. It's been 3 months and you've built so much that you're not even thinking about that. But if you allow your time, energy, focus, attention every single day to just open that wound, then 3 months later you're going to be thinking of the same thing. And people wonder why they're caught in a bubble. They
That-
wonder why they're stuck in a box.
yeah, dude. Let's
It's a
let's
shame
spend
that it's
an hour a week talking solely about all the depressing things we are currently going through or have ever went through, so that we can be more depressed, so that we can have more thoughts about all the stuff in our lives that sucks. I'd be depressed too if I spent all my time doing that. That's not helpful.
not.
That
Absolutely.
like yeah, let's just be bogged down. Perspective is reality. Andrew Tate said this, and it's absolutely wholly the truth. Depression's not real. It doesn't exist.
It's
Now,
not.
now you can experience depression, but depression as a state of like a medical
Correct.
condition, that's not real. Depression is just an emotion. You feel sad about something that happened to you, okay? But the only way you get depression as a mental disorder is if you just sit in lethargy and decide I'm going to stay in this mental state forever. This is my identity now. That's dumb. I'm
Right.
depressed. Something really bad just happened. My parents died. This is horrible. I'm going to grieve it and then I'm going to continue moving on in my life because what am I going to just mope for the rest? I'm not Eeyore. I'm not going to mope for the rest of my life. That's ridiculous, dude. And some people, they choose to make that their identity. Oh, I'm just depressed. Bro,
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I mean, it's a little bit asinine. You look at the average person, it's like, how does that not come to your mind? That should be the obvious thing. But there's something for these people where they're so comfortable doing it. They're comfortable in that depressed thought. I can't explain it, but it's a dark feeling that takes over, and people get used to that dark feeling because it's so hard to break out of it. And it's like you said, depression's not real. Feeling depressed is real. And the more and more you circulate back and open that wound, of course, if I cut my hand, I took off the band aid and I start pressing on the wound, it's going to hurt.
yeah.
Of course, it's going to hurt. And that's what happens when every week you dedicate 1 hour a week to go talk about your problems. Like, you're not going to get fucking better. You're
Bro,
not getting better.
I'm on the other side of that coin to an extreme where it's actually bad, right? Like I'm a what most people would look at my life and think I'm a psychopath. It was 112 degrees outside at 5 p.m. last night. I strapped on a sauna suit. I put on my 45-pound ruck. I went and walked 3 miles with my hood up, dripping sweat, and then I got in my ice bath, which is 27 degrees Fahrenheit, for 11 minutes while I did a meditation. People are like, "Dude, you're an insane person." I the comfort zone, I loathe comfort. I hate it. I detest normalcy to the point where I do all this crazy stuff. I'm training calisthenics now. I go to the gym 2.5, 3, sometimes 4 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'm working out as hard as humanly possible. And then at the end of the day, I'm absolutely gassed, pooped. I've spent the whole day working on slave ships, trading time for money so that I can get ahead financially while building my business, while building my body, my temple. I do all this stuff all day from 3:30 in the morning to 9 p.m. at night till I'm ready to crash out. And then I'm journaling at the end of the day and I'm like beating myself up and I'm like, "Bro, I didn't do enough, bro. Like I'm not I need to be better, bro. Like I'm on the other side of the coin where it's like, "Oh, comfort's great. I'm just going to stay in this depression." I'm like I feel like I'm
Yeah,
Batman,
you're
bro.
looking for that uncomfortableness. And that's, you know what? There was an Andrew Huberman podcast I was listening to, and in that Andrew Huber, it was with David Goggins. I don't remember what exact part of the brain, but there's a part of your brain where every time you do something that you don't want to do, it grows and grows and grows, and you fiend for it more. And there was, when I turned 20 years old, I began working in roofing sales. And one thing I'll never forget, when I used to work in roofing sales, I had a manager named Spiro. At the time, he was 26. Spiro said that this was my first real sales job, right? And this was the hardest form of sales. You're going into the house, they're not even expecting that you're trying to close them. They're just thinking, I'm there for a roof inspection. They don't know anything about the company, they don't know nothing. And you have to hard close them that same day. right? They're just off a random cold call. But the point is, Spiro said something that really changed my outlook on life. He put up on the board, he put a little line right here in the middle, and he said, imagine this line. Every time you cross that bridge to an uncomfortable position, you might be able to close a few extra deals. And that's just because you became uncomfortable. And after that point, that's when I already when I was 18, 19, I already because of the rise of Red Pill, Andrew Tate, all these guys, I was already invested in that, right? But when I heard that from him, that's when I really started being obsessed with that. What's the word I'm looking for? We'll say being uncomfortable, but there was a word I was looking for. It was on the tip of my tongue. I forgot it. But you understand what I'm saying. And the
100%.
more and more you obsess over that, I feel the greater the return is.
Yeah.
And I think that's spiritual and physical. It's like input output. The more you put in, the bigger your results are going to be.
Dude, they're right hand in hand, right? Like you're if you go to the gym and you go and lose 85 pounds and all of a sudden you're shredded, you have a six pack and you look good, you look like a Greek god, your confidence is going to go up. Why did your confidence go up?
Absolutely.
Your confidence went up because your self image changed. I was a fat, lazy piece of garbage. And then I decided I'm not going to be fat and lazy anymore. And then I started being a psychopath where I'm going super, super hard on everything I'm doing. Now I'm so far beyond normalcy that people look at me and they're like, dude, what the heck is going on with you? And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be normal. I fear being normal. It's horrible. Dude, the other day, it was sick. I love this. And maybe I was a little mean to this guy, but I live in a condo and I've got my ruck on, I've got my sauna shirt on, and I'm going around, I'm listening to a podcast and I hear him yelling. Yeah, like in a lull in the podcast, I hear over him. I hear, "Hey, hey." I look over in the pool and there's this fat guy, really fat guy. I mean, I'm not judging him, but he's just fat. I'm setting the context, and he's drinking a beer. It's like I don't know what day it was. It was a weekday, and it was like 3 or 4 p.m. And he's like, "Hey, man, what are you training for?" And I didn't. I was taken aback for a second. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, why are you going so, why are you wearing the ruck in a sauna suit? It's really hot out here. What are you training for? And I was like, dude, I'm just training for life, bro. Like, that's what I said. And then I laughed and I walked off. I should have said, dude, I just don't want to be like you, bro. Like, come on, dude.
No, but that's true. But that's true. It's 100% true. And the thing is, well, both of those are true. You don't want to be like him because he's sitting there doing nothing while you're out there bettering yourself. And the other thing is, you could apply what you learn there into any part of life. I would argue that that in itself, going out with a sauna suit, hot day, on a run, weighted vest, everything, that's an art form in itself.
Yeah. Dude, if anything, so in 22 when I was running my tech company, we were VC funded and I was building in the flow art sector, which is a sub niche inside of EDM culture. And one of my team members, our tech stack CTO, was a developer. So we were building smart contracts for major A-list DJs. I'm not gonna name drop any of them, but we did one smart contract that did $60 million in token sales in the first 30 days. And so we're at this VIP collective party, and we're like, it's like a party, but it's also like a mastermind at the same time. You know what I realized? All the way up the socioeconomic ladder of success, wealth, and affluence, nobody has any idea what they're doing. Everybody's a beginner that just was playing the game for years and years and years and got somewhere. They're still walking into the dark. They still don't know what they're doing. They know how they got to where they are, but they don't necessarily know all the pieces of the puzzle of how they're getting to the next stage. Nobody knows it all. You just got to know the next step and keep walking. Even the A-list celebrities you're looking up to, they're as clueless as
Yeah.
you are. They're
Right.
look, it's as simple as this. They're
I
a
agree.
meaningful specific that's further down the path than you are. A meaningful specific instead of a wandering generality. It's as simple as that.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. You know, it's funny because when I was 14, 15, even further back, 13, 12. I know those sound like such young ages, but I remember telling people, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a superstar. I have a video of me at 14 years old, which I'm going to research. I'm going to post that on social media down the line saying I'm going to take over every industry. I said music industry, clothing industry, movie industry. Back then, I didn't realize what it took. Now I do, but I still hold to that truth. And I was watching a Patrick Bet-David video where he talks about levels of entrepreneurship. And you could be the best at level one, level two, level three, but most people will reach that plateau, the highest at level three, because they don't want to be the worst at level four anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want to be the worst at level four. So, you know what? I'll be comfortable here at level three. I'll be the highest above everyone else, but I don't want to be the lowest in level four. And the people that constantly chase that next level and becoming the best at that next level, and they're not afraid of bringing themselves back down to the lowest, taking that humble hit, those are the people that will forever succeed.
100%, dude.
But the ambition has to be relentless. You have to believe you kind of almost got to be psychotic for some people. I don't think it's a psychotic mindset to think I could truly achieve anything, but to the average person, it is a psychotic thing. And you have to have that in you. That's the only way you'll make it, when you just have that consistency, momentum, and you see the vision that no one else will see.
Dude, working a regular slave ship job, like, I refuse to be gaslit into believing you and me are the weird ones, bro. I refuse to be gaslit
No.
into thinking we're the
Yeah,
weird ones.
no.
We might be the anomalies because of just statistical numbers, but we're just the
Right.
ones that are playing the game and paying attention. Everybody else is weird for being subservient to indentured servitude. You're a slave and you're okay with that. And it's
Right.
like, bro, you have dreams and ambitions. They've been so deeply rooted in you because you're not even thinking about them because you're stuck in the debt trap that you're just not even thinking about it.
Cycle.
I refuse to believe I'm the weird one because I think the way that I do. And me too, bro. When I was 12, 11, in middle school, and everybody's talking about, well, what are you going to be when you grow up? Oh, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a teacher. Dude, I was just like, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. And my teachers laughed at me, bro. They laughed. And they're like, well, what are you going to do to be a multimillionaire? I don't know. I'm just going to be a multimillionaire. I promise you, in high school, I was literally in the yearbook. I can find it. In my senior year, I was rated most likely to become a millionaire. And it's because,
That's beautiful.
dude, like, I don't know, man. It's just been in me, bro. Even when it was latent and I wasn't building actively in my life to be going that direction, I just knew somehow I'm going to be there.
You had it, yeah. And I completely agree. I'll add two little stories for the viewers. When I was in 5th grade, we used to write class books when I was in middle school and elementary school. So we used to write these class books where I grew up. I live in North Jersey. But we wrote these class books, and one of them was, what do you want to be when you grow up? 5th grade, 10 years old. In there, I wrote, I will become a millionaire off making videos. I have the book upstairs. I will become a millionaire off making videos. I said YouTuber at the time. Obviously, there's so much more now. But at the time I said YouTuber, I was so young, but it still stands. It's like manifestation, but it's something that you always have in you. And to add to your point, me as well, there was one teacher in all of high school that taught us financial literacy. There was one teacher. He hardly even took a salary for it. This guy was very, very well off, but he just believed in teaching students something that mattered. He taught us how to do taxes. He taught us a number of things in financial literacy. And he also taught college business, where you could get credits for college and taking a business class and whatnot. So I took the class in my senior year, and at the end, when I asked him to sign my yearbook, he wrote, I'll see you when you're 21 and a millionaire. Now, I'm not, I'm 21 now. I'm not a millionaire, but the point still stands.
You'll get there,
I'm
man.
getting there.
You're
I'm
gonna
getting
be
there.
there.
I have the belief in myself.
100%, dude.
Exactly.
I think so. You know what's funny? The first year, so my first business I did was Amazon FBA. I started with $3,500 and I did $500,000 in revenue in the first 36 months. And I was like, dude, I've made it. But when I first started, with like my first 2 months, my first sale I still remember. I sold a Nintendo DS. It was a Pikachu edition, and it was insane. When I swiped up and realized I had made $130 online, I was like, dude, it's over. I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. I'm gonna be a quadrillionaire, you know. But my first vision plan, I was so convinced that I was going to be doing 100K net a month in my 12th month. You don't have to be smart. You don't even have to be at all financially literate in any form or capacity to start. You don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to be great. And it's as simple as that.
Exactly.
Dude, just take the first step. And if you keep going, no matter what failure or tribulation you hit in your path, it will come to pass. Guaranteed. Or you'll die
100%
first.
doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or that. You have to have. It's like it's the same thing you said. You said you made your first 130. I made my first. I left car sales. I already knew this was in April 2024 last year. I already knew that I was doing fairly well in car sales as well, but I already knew that I could make online money. I had a method in the back of my head with TikTok Shop. I grew this Instagram following, but I wanted to, I don't know, something about me just I stepped away from it and I didn't think about it. I didn't want to do music anymore for a little bit. Now I've kind of combined everything together, but I went over to TikTok Shop and I remember in my first week leaving car sales, I made $1,000 on TikTok Shop, and that's when it was the same thing. I just had that drive in my head. I was like, I'm never going back.
Bro, we need to touch this, bro, because we actually, the way we met is a mastermind collective by Alex Sedlak called Media Labs. And, bro,
Absolutely.
listen, I have been in business 8 years. I've done over $3 million in revenue. I've been VC funded. I sold a company for $27 million. The
Congratulations.
greatest, well, I only had 11% equity. So, yeah, and it's stock options. So it's
Still
not like
congratulations.
cash. Thank you. But when I tell people that, they're like, "Dude, you're a multimillionaire." I'm like, "No, relax." but but listen, of all the business opportunities that exist today, online user generated content on the back of Amazon and TikTok is the lowest hanging fruit. It is so unbelievably simple. It's not easy, it's simple. Okay, there's a big difference. You have to do the work still. You have to show up on camera and be somewhat articulate and be a little bit creative minded because people have peanut brains. But it is
Absolutely.
so unbelievably easy to make 4, 5 figures a month. Like it will blow your mind. You do it,
Ridiculous.
it gets ridiculous really fast, and you're like, maybe I can subsidize
And
my
it
work
doesn't matter.
income with this. And then all of a sudden a month
It
later you're
doesn't
like,
matter who you are, where you're from. It doesn't matter. You could just do it. And that's the best part. That's one of the things that really teaches you consistency, momentum, discipline. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's so simple. You show up in front of a camera 3 times a day, record a 50-second video. And then you're making 4 or 5 figures a month over the course of maybe in the next 2 months. You start doing it every single day, back to back to back to back. You start making 4 or 5 figures. Then you open another account, another account, another account. And here's the thing that I want to spin back to. This is the funniest part. AI's taken over. I started an account, it got banned now. I started an account with VO3 for not only just, having a little fun with the meme content, VO3, the gorilla videos, the Yeti videos, all that, but I started promoting goalie with it. And with Alex Sedlak's new app, Paper, one, I was making money off of the pay-per-view, and two, it started making some sales. And that's when I really realized that this is what's going to take over the UGC industry. It's going to be AI, and that's what's going to happen in the next 2 years. And then it's going to further advance. I already, myself and many other mainstream artists are already embedding AI in their music.
yep.
Timbaland just signed his own AI artist. I have my own AI artist now.
Dude, I'm about to build an AI clone that I give my VA access to so that they can just script and create a bunch of piece of vertical short form content to cross post across all my whole funnel for all my social media, so I don't actually have to spend the time in front of the camera recording every day. Like I'm going to make a one
Amazing.
of one AI clone, carbon copy voice, carbon look, exactly the same, so that I can just pump out 10 times the content, and nobody will be the wiser. Like it's
I love it.
crazy where we're headed, bro. And
Absolutely. The way we're able to replace ourselves with VO3, I've already been generating. I do it myself now. I don't need to pay an editor. I don't need to pay a director. I don't need to do anything. I put everything together my own, my way, my vision. And I think this is what I wanted to say earlier. I was thinking about this before I even hopped on the pod. AI is amazing for artists who want to get their vision out there and express their creativity. It's going to be amazing for those kinds of people. It's amazing for, I believe, for kids that are let's say, when you're a kid and you're just drawing. You don't know what you're drawing. You're just letting your paint on the canvas. You're just letting your thoughts out. It's going to be amazing for those kids as well. But the way it gets sadistic is when I just saw a tweet of there was a news anchor. There was a news anchor. I don't know which news channel, but there was a news anchor, and he was interviewing an AI clone of a student that got killed in a school shooting back in 2018.
Wow.
That's the sadistic side. I saw that this morning. I'll actually send you the tweet right after this pod. That's where it gets sadistic. But for artists, I think there's just unlimited possibilities. And the only people who are truly going to succeed in entertainment with AI are those with the creative minds.
Yes. Dude, 100%. Not to go back super deep down the rabbit hole, but kind of a little bit. I think it's interesting that when Gronk was given full API access to the full internet, it went full Austrian painter within the first 2 hours. I think that's really,
I thought that was very interesting too.
I don't know. And then even more interesting than that, all of a sudden we're backtracking and let's just put that in the box. Let's retrain this model. Let's get rid of all that.
Talk about it.
Why can't we talk about it, dude?
Why doesn't anyone talk about it? I think it should raise some questions that when an AI, I think what they took away a command and then it just went full free speech, right? Is that what happened? That's what I read. They took away one command, it went full free speech, just taking away one code, and it came to its own conclusion of howling some guy, some Austrian painter from the past. It's very interesting. You know, I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. I also find it really interesting. I mean, a certain subsect of people have been kicked out of 109 countries over the course of almost 3,000 years for usury and debauchery and degeneracy and other just completely unfaithful stuff. And then you look into their religious teachings and they think everyone is a beast of the earth, subhuman, only here to be their indentured slaves, literal slaves. They're allowed to grape young girls. They're allowed to do whatever they want. They can kill you if they want. It's not a punishable sin because we're subhuman, and then we're just supposed to, as it says in our Bible, that we need to just turn the other cheek and just be okay with the literal synagogue of Satan as spoken by Jesus Christ himself out of his words. We just got to let them do their thing and vibe out. And oh, by the way, if you talk about it publicly, you will be your character will be assassinated. You will be basically made to be anything that comes out of your mouth is just flamboyant and it's not real. You have no real tangible merit. So don't listen to what this guy has to say. He's just a crazy person. It's like, whoa, like, dude, it's really weird.
And how my one thing is, how does the average American, especially the older demographic, maybe our demographic is, you know, we're more on point, we see everything, we have social media, but the older demographic doesn't really comprehend this. When I saw yesterday, what was it, the Trump administration was taking away funding for hurricane aid or emergency disaster aid for any states that criticize Israel.
Yeah.
They backtraced it, you know, they retracted it, they took it out, but I believe so. But I just think that's so interesting, and it doesn't. How do you not sit there, read that, and say that's suspicious? You know, your average person goes, yeah.
The United Slaves of Israel, bro, they got us. Look at AIPAC. Look at who they're funding. Look at, dude.
And let's take it back to John F. Kennedy real quick. Let's take it back to John F. Kennedy.
Yep.
He wanted them identified as a foreign entity.
Yep. Register as foreign agents. Assassinated. Let's backpedal it.
What happened to all the witnesses of Kennedy's assassination?
Gone.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
It's all very strange stuff. I mean, I'm very glad that the world is starting to wake up and we're heading towards the direction we're heading, but this is what I question now. We see it becoming more and more popular to question these things. We see it more and more popular to speak on these topics. We see that we're a lot more uncensored too. But with
Palantir,
technological surveillance, Palantir, all of these companies, and just 8 years ago, if you said something like this, you were look at Nick Fuentes, you get deplatformed completely.
Yep.
It just makes you raise some questions. Why are they allowing this?
I know why. Because if they win, what they're doing is they're building a web of everybody that's a free thinker. So if they get full, complete totalitarian control, they can round us all up and get rid of us all in one fell swoop. The entire resistance, boom, done. Martyrs. Get rid of them.
Like I said, I'm just asking questions. But I would say that's a reasonable conclusion to all of that. Because the free thinkers are the ones that are going to run this nation. All the free thinkers down the line, 10, 20 years, the are the people in their 20s right now, the people in their 30s, 10, 20, 30 years down the line. We are the voices of this country. We are the voices of this generation. And that's why it's such a shame when I see people our age, I'll say our age, we're both in our 20s, that just don't realize their potential. You are the voice.
Yes, bro.
You are the future.
Yes, dude.
And that's why our mindsets are so important. Our mindsets, our ideologies, our ideas are so important. And that's also, I had like a calling the other day. That's why I texted you. I said, yo, let's hop on the pod and just share some new ideas, because I felt like I needed to release some ideas in the world. And I'm very glad that we hopped on here and chopped it up.
Yeah, bro. We're gonna have to do it again too, bro.
Oh,
Another thing,
absolutely. This has been
another thing
great.
I find pretty funny, right? People on the political left are always like, well, the Nazis, they burned a bunch of books because they don't want people to be literate, and it's like, well, let's really dive
I
in
wonder what
here.
was in the book.
What are they burning? Oh, they were burning Magnus Hirschfield's transgender studies and homosexuality and all this weird stuff that, I mean, the United States, Berlin at the time in 1932 was literally the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's just be honest. And when the Austrian
Right.
painter came to power, within 3 years, he got rid of usury, he banned pornography, he banned transgender studies and homosexuality, and he got rid of the debt serfdom. He arrested a Rothschild, he got rid of the national bank that was the federal bank, that was the cabal or the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. And all of a sudden, we have a prosperous, budding nation. Oh, who started the war? Because the war was actually declared by Jewish bankers first.
It was well, there's a New York Times newspaper. This isn't out of the ordinary to say. There's a New York Times newspaper that says Judea declares war on Germany.
Yep. Or
That's history. That's history.
or how about the news articles from 1918 all the way back, World War One times, through 1918 all the way up to the 30s, talking about the 6 million Jews that are in peril. They are future author. Who writes the history books? Okay, the winners write the
Well,
history books.
McGraw Hill. Let's talk about McGraw Hill real
Yes,
quick.
Pergamon Press.
What's the name of the Jeffrey Epstein's associate?
Yes, it's Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. He
Her father.
Yes, her
Correct.
father was a Mossad agent who started a company that purchased McGraw Hill, which is all the textbooks we used in middle school. And the company, the media marketing publishing company, was called Pergamon Press. In the Bible, Pergamon is the throne and the perch that Satan builds his throne and kingdom on. I mean, we're in spiritual warfare. So these aren't random
Absolutely.
accidents. These are not just, oh, it's just a random, that's just randomly
There's a lot of
lined up.
symbolism.
No, dude, it didn't randomly line up. How about the fact that the Christians, people that believe in what Jesus Christ did for salvation on Calvary and paid for the debts of our sin, the Christians of the world are waiting for Jesus Christ to come back in the end times, in Revelations. And while the Christians are waiting for the Antichrist to present himself, the Jews are waiting for their Messiah because they they killed Jesus Christ, actually, and then they denounce him of what he is. In their book, in the Talmud, it says that Jesus Christ is being boiled alive in excrement in the afterlife for eternity.
Yep.
Yeah, real
Right.
nice stuff. They're waiting for their Messiah, their true Messiah, while the Christians are waiting for the Antichrist to present themselves in Jerusalem after the third temple is built. I mean, let's really deeply analyze what's going on. The modern
We're
day
in spiritual
Jew
warfare.
and spiritual,
We're in
and you know what?
spiritual warfare.
You know
We're
what
in the
actually,
middle of it.
dude, you know what really pisses me off? Actually, seriously pisses me off. I love my grandparents to death. I literally go over to their house and do Bible studies with them, and we have great conversations. In fact, I did a podcast about the Job problem, the Jonah problem, and the Joseph problem in personal and business development, and how that aligns to today. It's really good stuff, and I got that from a conversation with them. They are so psyoped because of in Genesis, in the first book of the Bible, it says, "Those who bless Israel shall be blessed," and it's like, bro, you are so out of context.
The Rothschild nation.
You
You're
are
not
out
talking
of
about
context. The ethnocentric state that is literally doing all sorts of atrocities, crimes against humanity, named Israel, is not the Israel of the Bible. You are
Bravo,
so
correct,
off.
100%. And I feel as if, and there's a lot of Jewish people I know in my life that could agree with this. Everyone's been psyoped and lied to into believing Zionism. But if you look into Zionism, it is the synagogue of Satan, because when you look into Zionism, who was it created by? Atheists. Theodore Herzl. Who was Theodore Herzl? He was an atheist. His father was a rabbi, but he was an atheist. These
Yep.
people do not believe in God.
And you know who
And
helped
that's
him?
why, like I said, I've talked to a lot of Jewish people that disagree with the state of Israel as well, and they're very explicit on the fact that this is the work of Satan.
Yes.
Even they could come to that rational conclusion. So, and it's not even just about Israel, though. It goes so much deeper. Look at the spiritual. It's like you said. Look at the spiritual warfare we're in, and the way they've made it so the average person could oversee that, because they're in their own warfare in their mind. They're in spiritual warfare with themselves.
Yep. Dude,
It's insane.
I'm probably not going to get the job that I'm trying to go for right now.
Probably not. Probably not. Not after this one. Not after this one. But you know what? You could be like kind of you look at Myron Gaines.
Yep. Dude, you know what's really hilarious, bro? First off, you know, we're quote unquote not supposed to talk about it, but Ye is dropping absolute bangers. World War III, NHH, fire songs. But you know, the last 45 days I've been doing Uber, bro.
Kanye West is my favorite. Ye is my favorite artist.
I
I
love
shouldn't
him.
have said Kanye West. I didn't mean to say that. His name's Ye. But Ye is my favorite
I
artist.
love
He
him, bro.
always has been. Even before the Alex Jones thing. Like, put all that aside. He's a visionary. He's a creative. And I'll say this, truly, 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 when I dropped out of college and I played the college dropout, it spoke to me in ways people will never imagine, all the way back to 2004. So for that, for I could throw on graduation right now, and I swear to God, I'm gonna have that same feeling in my blood.
You'll feel
That
it.
just, I'm gonna get up, get it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I can never ever ever resent Ye.
Bro.
Ever. No matter what he does, I will always stand by Ye.
He's pushing the limits of the social ethnic state to show he's pointing out hypocrisies, and he's pointing it out in a way.
Absolutely.
Look, he says the Jewish overlords won't let me see my kids, and they took my money away from me, and they took my brand deals, they took everything from me. What do they do in return? They literally deplatform him, and they take access to his bank accounts away. It's like, bro.
It's like, could
Bro.
you not make it any more obvious? But if he came out and said, "Oh, I hate all black people," what would have happened?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. What if he came out and said, "Oh, I hate all white people"? Nothing.
Nothing. It might even get promoted.
Exactly. Exactly. They'll push it. They'll say, "Oh, this is the voice of DEI." Fucking garbage. It's rubbish.
Bro,
Like,
but no, back to my point, bro. I've been driving Uber, and like these songs are in my playlist. I love it, bro, and I listen to them,
and you have a
bro. And I'm sitting there. I look back in the. It starts playing. I skip it real fast. I look back in the mirror, see if they notice. They never do, but it's like because they don't know the first couple of beats of the song.
you get you know what? I'll say this though. There's a lot of people that are supporting this movement and a lot of people supporting this cause based on my subjective perspective. Objectively, that's one thing, but just based on my subjective perspective, anywhere I go, there's people talking about this and supporting this movement, especially Nick Fuentes. This guy is growing. This guy is growing.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe it's just because of his communication skills and the way that they're platforming him again. Maybe they're only platforming him to round us all up and then take us out at once. But it's growing.
Yeah, bro.
There's no denying that. And to get a man who was once worth $6 billion in support of this vision, and then he loses everything over it, that just shows you.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I
Well,
mean, after that song, Europe won't let him perform in any of the venues over there.
yep.
He lost his visa to Australia.
Dude, it makes you wonder. Follow the money, bro. If anyone doesn't know and doesn't really connect all the dots, just follow the money. Do your own research. Maybe watch Europa.
It's very interesting.
Europa, the
It's just
last battle.
interesting, you know?
Research it.
I'm sure you're familiar with Bobby Fischer.
Yes.
Bobby Fischer, phenomenal pattern recognition, coming to his own conclusions. He was a Jewish chess master.
Yep. Dude, don't you know that pattern recognition's anti-Semitic, bro? You're not allowed to notice things. It's gonna be illegal here soon.
Okay. apologies. I shouldn't have asked the question
Yeah.
because we don't have freedom of speech anymore. We
No.
don't have freedom of speech anymore. I would argue that we truly don't have freedom of speech. The reason why we're able to speak like this, we're able to crack living room jokes or whatever, the only reason, or locker room jokes, sorry, the only reason why we're able to do this is because we don't have those large of platforms yet. But as soon as we do, watch what happens. There goes your freedom of speech.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how they get you.
Yep.
That's how they get you. And that's why also while you're at this size for guys like us, we could be prepared for that. Yeah, take away my bank account. All my money's in crypto.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could be prepared for it. It's very, very important to be prepared. And it's like I said in the beginning of this conversation. I don't know if we were streaming yet or not, but or recording yet or not, but being as adaptable as possible, those are the people that survive.
Yeah, bro. Look, we've bounced off. We've talked about spiritual discipline, spiritual warfare. We've talked about the cabal, the Illuminati, a lot of conspiracy theories, personal development, growth, mindset. Being the architect of your own life. We've gone over so many crazy topics that are all very valuable. Closing statements. What's
Absolutely.
one thing you would leave the audience with?
Follow the omens.
Yeah. Pay attention.
Follow the omens.
Wake up.
And
Use
if you
your
haven't read
third
The
eye.
Alchemist, use your third eye, use your pineal gland, up those pattern recognition skills. If you haven't read The Alchemist, read The Alchemist.
Paulo Coelho. You know what, dude? Page 127 of The Alchemist. I've posted. I know it exactly, word for word by heart. I love it. And this goes back to part of my life and what because I've been future authoring for 9 years now, and the young man and the alchemist get stopped by the Egyptian police, and he pulls out all the stuff from the alchemist's bag, and he goes, "Well, what is this?" And he goes, "Oh, that's the looking glass and the alchemist's stone. Any shavings that come off of that turn to gold." He didn't lie. He told him straight up facts, the truth.
Yeah.
They laughed in his face and then didn't do anything. And then the young boy says to the alchemist, "What? Why did you tell them that? Why did you say that?" And he said, "To teach you a lesson. Those that have the keys to reality are far often not believed." Because you can say it straight to their face. If they're not ready to hear it, if their pineal gland is still calcified, you can spaz the straight up whole truth on them, and they'll just stare at you blankly like you're an idiot. Like it's the truth,
And that's
bro.
a very, very, very important lesson to take away because it also goes. I'm actually, the fact that you have that memorized, I love that. It's very important to take that away because it goes back to you can never, ever, ever save someone that doesn't want to save themselves. If I held $100,000 in this bag and I walked up to a homeless man, I have $100,000 in here, he said, "I don't believe you," walked away, what could I do for him?
Nothing.
He can't save someone that doesn't want to save themselves. I love that.
Dude, thank you for being on the pod. We're going to have to run it back,
Thank
bro.
you for having me, my man. We have to run it back. I love the conversation. Again, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Awesome.